Why is the Mexico Grand Prix terrible for racing? We're off the back of what I will confidently say was the worst race of the season, and I thought I'd explore why the Mexico GP track is lacking and what we could possibly do in a hypothetical scenario to make the circuit better for racing, because realistically, when you look at the races we've had there in the past, we've never really had standout bangers here. But we also do love it because of the good vibes and Sergio's dad. Yeah, I get it. Anyway, let's look at why the racing is so bad around here. First and foremost, and something that is always spoken about when we race here, is the altitude. The Mexico City Grand Prix is set at a whopping 2,250 meters above sea level, and this can have quite a big impact on the cars and therefore the racing. With the air being thinner, the cars struggle to generate as much downforce because downforce is created by the air pushing the car into the ground. If there's less of it, there's going to be less downforce. That's why, despite the massively long straight in Mexico, teams run very large wings to try and create as much grip as possible. With there being less air, it also means less air resistance when the cars are accelerating, meaning draggier cars are affected less in terms of top speed. Not only this, but the altitude also significantly affects the car's ability to cool down, which means teams like Ferrari, for example, were so far off the pace because they were worried about reliability. Sad Ferrari fan noises. Phew, that's the science out of the way. But it's not the end of the Mexico GP problems. The track layout is another one. There's far too many single-file, awkward sections which break up the racing. Turns 2 and 3 is a good example of a tricky chicane which doesn't provide any entertainment whatsoever. All it ends up doing is shortening what could be a reasonably long straight with DRS. So I say we banish that chicane from existence and have a hard braking zone into turn 1 and move immediately onto the straight with another dose of DRS. That's not the end of my amendments either. I would lessen the angle of turn 5 as it just is a horrible corner to navigate a Formula 1 car around, which again would help improve the flow of the track. Turn 6 can stay because I think with a slightly cleaner run through turn 5, we may see a driver more interested in a look up the inside, but not like how Danny Rick did the overtake on Tsunoda. That was bad. Now turn 7 all the way through to 11 I like the idea of, but something just doesn't feel right about them. Whether it's the camera angle they always tend to show, which really doesn't do the cars justice unless you ride on board with them, I'm not sure. I feel like this section of the track should be littered with gravel, not tarmac runoff, to allow for a bit more jeopardy if a driver makes a mistake. Last but by no means least, the amphitheatre, which is the final sector, really does need changing, but I understand why it's a slow, technical and rather painful few corners. It's so the fans get to see the cars for longer. But what these corners do is spread the cars out horribly, just like the dreaded Barcelona last chicane. In an ideal world, you'd get rid of the fiddly hairpin and just make it a cleaner run through the stadium section, allowing cars to follow closer. You can't have the cars going too quickly through here though, just because of how close the fans are to the action. A difficult tweaking job for sure. There you have it, how I would adjust the Mexico City Grand Prix track and why it really isn't delivering good races. What do you think? What would you change? Let us know in the comment section below.